Today I fucked up by telling my girlfriend's mom to make herself useful. This happened this morning and I still feel like an idiot. We were organizing the house and my girlfriend's mom popped by. After some chatting, she asked if we wanted help with anything as her day was freed up. I looked around the house and then said, "Yeah, if you want to make yourself useful and pull all the shoes out from the rack." She stopped, completely flabbergasted, and stared at me for a few seconds. I stared back at her because I could sense that something was clearly wrong, but I had no idea what. I think she could tell that I had no idea and asked me, "How often do you tell people to make themselves useful?" Turns out that it's actually a rude thing to say, and not a single person in my life has ever corrected me on it. Y'all, I say this all the time. So many people probably think I'm an asshole. For context, my dad is your stereotypical blue-collar born in the sticks kinda guy, so growing up he would always say, "Go make yourself useful and insert activity." I always thought this was just some sort of quirky way of telling someone to do something. In fact, I even thought this was polite. I've suddenly been flooded by years of delayed embarrassment and will never be using this phrase again. Too long did not read. I told my girlfriend's mom to make herself useful, not realizing that the phrase I have been saying my whole life is rude as shit. Well, did she make herself useful? I think tone makes it rude. It all depends on context. At least you didn't tell her to make herself useful and go make you a sandwich. Maybe not the best phrase, but most people won't have an issue with it. Maybe just avoid using it around her. I use that phrase all the time. I don't particularly think it's rude. I wouldn't use it for someone older than I am. Meh. I wouldn't consider it condescending from someone I know fairly well. Not sure I'd say it to a stranger, but I equally wouldn't take huge offense over it. Yeah, I don't think this is a rude thing to say. It's a super common phrase, and she's acting like she's never heard it. Honestly, I wouldn't worry too much about this one. You're good to keep using that phrase. Today I fucked up by getting third-degree burns on the bottom of my feet. This happened last year and was one of the most painful experiences of my life. My fiancé and I went to a wedding in the Bahamas. When we got to our hotel, our room wasn't ready yet. We decided to drop our stuff off in a locker and walk to the beach, which we were told was just down the block. I only had sneakers readily accessible and didn't feel like wearing them to the beach, so I figured I could walk there barefoot since it was close. That should be fine, right? Wrong. We got down the block from the hotel and I was in agony. My fiancé suggested we go back, but it was hot and I thought we were closer to the beach than we were, so I figured I'd be okay. Wrong once again. The beach ended up being a half a mile away from the hotel. We weren't at a resort, so I didn't want to be alone while my fiancé ran to get my shoes. I decided to power through. Once we got to the beach, my feet were already starting to peel. Thankfully, our friend who lives in the Bahamas was able to give us a ride back to the hotel, so we didn't have to walk back. By the time we got back, the skin was starting to come off of the bottom of my feet. At the rehearsal dinner, I already was unable to walk. The rest of the trip was spent by taking every step in utter agony. The one activity I wanted to do, swimming with the pigs, was spent in so much pain and I had to wear sneakers in the water. Thankfully, a lifeguard bandaged my feet, but it wasn't helpful with the pain. On the way home, I had to get a wheelchair at the airport. By the time we got home, the skin on the bottom of my feet was gone. I ended up going to the ER and had a pretty nasty infection. I had to miss work for a week and couldn't walk. So yay, wear shoes outside in the Bahamas. Too long did not read. Walked barefoot in the Bahamas. Burned all the skin off the bottom of my feet. Extreme pain. Geez, do you regularly walk barefoot? Even if you do, walking just down the block in unfamiliar areas seems like a bad call in general. My friend spent a day dangling his feet off the front of a boat. Water reflects sunlight. He burned the bottom of his feet. I lived just off a black sand beach with signs everywhere about not going barefoot on that particular beach when it was sunny out. The hotels even offered free beach shoes. But no one listened and the doctors in the local ER got a lot of burn experience. Don't mess with hot sand. Hindsight is 20/20, but going in the water with open wounds on your feet (MAAAY) have been what caused them to get infected. Regardless, I'm sorry that happened. It sounds horrendously painful. Ouch. You didn't have your summer feet. If it makes you feel any better, my mom stepped on melted carpet while our house was on fire to get my brother. It was bad. The rest of the vacation must have been so miserable. Sorry that happened to you. Hope you are feeling better now. Third-degree burns? Third-degree burns destroy the epidermis and dermis. Third-degree burns may also damage the underlying bones, muscles, and tendons. The burn site appears white or charred. There is no sensation in the area since the nerve endings are destroyed. Today I fucked up by taking LSD and playing Skyrim. Me and a friend decided to take acid together after only meeting once at a mutual friend's party. So things are going smooth. Nice visuals, nice trip. This dude is coming on to me strong, which was very strange. I had to make an excuse as to why he couldn't stay longer. He then leans his head in, to which I just walked past him. Anyway, he leaves about 3 hours after initial taking of said acid. So I decided while I'm tripping and already terrified of that man to boot up my favorite game. Skyrim. My pride and joy. A game great in concept and beautiful with mods. This could take my mind off that. So I get playing and I'm thinking, I'm the fucking Dragonborn. I'm proper merging into the game as I play. And I looked at my game's quest marker and it's telling me to open something called a black book. Well, Dragonborn went to dragon fuck this shit as I'm fighting off these tentacle creatures. Just loads of them. Greasy, slimy, tentacles. I keep hitting them with my iron sword of sparks but they just keep multiplying. So my mind is going fucking berserk. I'm freaking the fuck out because that is one of my general phobias as well. So I'm having a full-set panic attack and the audio is just getting louder and louder. But I persevere. I must finish this quest at least. I then get to the end and I'm greeted by this mass of tentacles and billions of eyeballs. Not to mention this slow, extremely loud dialogue. I'm staring eye to eyes with Hermaeus Mora. At this point, the trip is too much. I start screaming, I punch my monitor and I just go to my bed and hug my pillow for dear life. All while I can't get Hermaeus Mora out of my mind. I then proceed to throw up. So I woke up about 10 minutes ago with a puddle of puke, a text from a man saying, "Was lovely seeing you," and a broken monitor. Too long did not read. Took acid with a guy the first met once prior. Met one of my phobias from my favorite video games, Skyrim, punched my monitor and hit a bad trip. Never should have come here. Video games were always pretty boring to me on LSD. But also, you know what's fun on acid? Almost everything. So I get it. I played TIFU for like 20 minutes once but I was quickly overwhelmed and decided I can be overwhelmed by video games anytime. Then went to go paint and play with plants. I played Cyberpunk while tripping and did one of the Trippia missions on accident, taxi factory thing. After I made my daring escape I remembered I could pause the game and did. Just sat there breathing heavy, heart pounding out of my chest lol. I played Skyrim on shrooms. I tried to get from Whiterun to Riften, kept going in circles. I was attacked by a spider, and that's my phobia. I just tossed the controller to my brother, and ran out of the room, half crying, half laughing. Bro has gone full Septimus Cygnus on a skooma trip, skull. Took LSD and booted up Borderlands for the first time. It was magical. Also I sucked at hitting a goddamn thing. The cell animation started glowing and I was convinced this was the actual game. Turns out yes, but AL significant other yes. Today I fucked up by drinking too much water. Hi all. This happened this morning to me. I've started walking, running 5 miles in the AM. Think between 2 AM and 3 AM, because of the intense heat in my area. I recently got one of those water backpacks that carries 3 liters of water. Apparently, I drink more than I thought I did when it's easier to access. It was maybe 3:15 AM, still pitch black other than my headlamp. I'm running when I feel that familiar pressure on my belly. Gotta pee right TF now. After 2 cesarean surgeries, it's extremely hard to hold it in. Like very painful. My neighborhood is dark as fuck at this time, hence the lamp. So I decide I must find the darkest space and use the tallest rock to lean against and go. It goes from 0-100 in less than a minute. Thank God I was near the open forest and didn't have to search long. My eyes rest on a tall enough rock. I only clock the height, that's it. I ran as fast as possible, whipped my leggings down like I'm Superman mid-change, and the immediate relief I felt. Until I felt urine running down my leg? WTF. I'm a grown-ass woman. I know how to pee outside. I am in full squat mode. This shouldn't happen. I investigate, and see a tiny little formation in the rock that juts out, causing the urine to sort of jump back up my thigh and run down, due to the torrent of urine coming from my body. I finish. I clean myself as much as possible and think it's okay. Until I pull up my pants. That faraway memory of being little and pulling up pants I'd had an accident came back. Why are my pants so warm? OMG. I pissed so much and was so distressed about the pee on my legs that I forgot about the leggings. I accept my fate. I begin the 2-mile walk back home. In my pee pants. I had a damn diaper rash when I got home. TBH, I'm surprised my fucking shoes weren't filled. I strip as fast as possible and hop in the shower. And now I know to always 1. Bring toilet paper and 2. Look closely at the rock. Don't be me. TLDR. Drank so much water on my run, found an unfortunate rock to lean against, get urine all over my legs, ass, and leggings. Had to walk 2 miles to get home. Edit, the people in my DMs. I'm not selling my pee pants. Edit 2, I definitely didn't drink all 3L. I'm just used to a regular water bottle strapped to my waist, which got old slapping against me. I just drank more than I normally do. Thank y'all for the suggestions of like the shiwi, haha. I'm looking into that and planning on taking TP now. And maybe spare leggings, LMAO. You've got to start flexing your kegels. It can be the difference between peeing in victory or peeing on defeat. Crazy edit worried. You ain't cool, unless you pee your pants. How much were the people asking for your pants offering? When I first started training for triathlons, I asked a friend, what do you do if you have to pee out on a run? They replied, just go. I'm super competitive and I'll do anything to shave seconds off my time, so next time I was out running, I had the urge to pee and I'd just keep running and start peeing. You know, because my triathlon buddy said, just go. My shoes stunk to high heaven and I told my friend the smell would not come out. They looked at me crazy and said, I meant, just go behind a tree, tall grass, wherever. Not on yourself. That being said, I've peed in wetsuits and on my bike, lol, and won a lot too. Oof. Rough situation and I feel for you. Have you thought about getting one of those devices that help women pee? They're like a funnel and could be really useful for your runs in the wild. There's quite a few variations like the Go Girl or Tinkle Bell, which gives me a laugh.